Hey y'all, just Kara Jones from MotherHenna.com coming at you with another creative prompt. This one is a little bit spring season inspired. I have a good friend who collects birds' nests. Of course, doesn't take them while the birds are still using them, but she comes across them frequently, having fallen out of trees or after they've been done being used. And she's gotten me in the habit of looking at birds' nests, and I'm fascinated by what the birds find and use to make their nests. Before we left Vashon Island, we had a bird's nest in one of the bushes near the house. And one year, this mama bird or papa bird, whoever it was that built the nest, or if they built it together, one of them found this beautiful shard, a strip of ribbon that was just woven through the whole front of the nest, and it was draping down, and it was just beautiful. And so I got to thinking about the bird's nest of grief. Right? What does the bird's nest of grief look like? As you have had your grief experience and you've nested around that to give yourself space to tend the broken spaces and the wounded sort of healing experience, what kinds of shards of bits of art and information and ideas and what makes up your bird's nest of grief, right? What parts of the grief nest are there, and after you put them together with all these other things, make something of beauty, surprisingly sometimes, right? What is in the bird's nest that you were surprised to find? What's in the bird's nest that when you look over at the next person's bird's nest of grief, you see something similar there, right? We see that sometimes in support group when we finally are able to make connections happen in our grief experiences. We see not our same experience. Very rarely will we find the exact same experience because we're all so subjective to our own personal makeup and whatnot. But very often you'll see reflections, right? Reflections in the other person's bird's nest or the other person's experience that will tell you something more about your own bird's nest and your own experience, that might give you a perspective on something you never saw before. So just kind of that idea of you could do it in words, the bird's nest of grief, and then kind of make a list of all the things that are woven together to make your bird's nest. You certainly could do it in image. Photos, collage images or drawings of bird's nests or pieces of things that you would bring together to make a bird's nest. You definitely could do it as physical art. So if you found bits and pieces of things and actually wove them together into a kind of a nest, a physical representation of that bird's nest of grief, that could be quite beautiful. So play around with it. It's an experiment like everything else. No right answer, no wrong answer. This is all your experiment. This is your playtime. So, and as always, if you do experiment, please leave comments here. If you have links to images or blog write-ups or anything like that, I would love to be able to come out and see how your creative play has happened around the bird's nest of grief. Thanks so much for being here. This is Kara Jones with MotherHenna.com, and we'll be at you real soon with more creative prompts.